Okay, Laurie, I've got your work up here, and let's go take a look. Really nice work. Thank you for this written rationale. Everything is making great sense there. Really gives me a nice insight into your approach, your methodology, as well as your concept development. So I was really pleased that you included such a detailed um, summary of your experience with the project thus far. Let's go take a look at the magazine ad. The magazine ad is gorgeous. There's no question. It's beautiful. The page mechanics is really handled quite beautifully. I think it's really a well accepted, very inviting, very warm, very accessible ad. I love it. I think it's good work, solid work. Good job. Love the color palette in that image. It's just really just boy, it jives perfectly with the color palette of the client. So great job there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the banner. Here's the banner. Now, Laurie, I want to do this. I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to give it away if I do that, and I might as well. But I just want you to take a look at this portion of the banner and then take a look. Well, what's the first thing you see here? Well, let's make it easier. What's the first thing you see in the banner? Okay. Now what's the first thing you see in the banner? Now what's the first thing you see in the banner? If you're saying it's the champagne bottle blinking in and out, that's exactly what I'm seeing. As a matter of fact, I think it's such a prominent role in hierarchy that it's difficult for me, anyway, to look away from it. And I think that that's doing an basic injustice to the rest of the um, campaign simply because it's garner it's blinking in and out. It's a champagne bottle. It's an interesting shape. There's strawberries. It piques to curiosity. I think it's a hierarchy hog. I do. I think it's just really hogging up first position in hierarchy and not allowing the page to speak to the viewer as one cohesive whole, as opposed to, boy, I'll tell you what, I'm just concerned that the viewer is going to have a difficult time getting away from this. The blinking in and out is so fast and the shape is so unique and interesting yet recognizable that it draws the viewer in and kind of it doesn't let go. To rectify that, I would recommend leaving the champagne bottle static. Leave it still. You could even possibly move it down a little bit. Right now, I think that the way that the top of the champagne bottle is resting on the horizon is a little bit peculiar. So I would recommend maybe even reducing the size a little bit and bringing it down in the composition. Then we're going to take this type and move it on top of the bottle so it's in closer proximity to the headline and the subhead, therefore creating a stronger relationship between this type here and the headline and subhead, which there should be a strong relationship there, right? They're very heavily um, connected, so to speak. So they should be closer in proximity as opposed to having this big separation caused by the bottom. So what I would recommend is this. There's a couple of things. Well, the first is to leave the champagne and strawberry static, then move this up here and animate this. You could probably even put this on one line. Maybe pull it in, align it with the T, and then have uh, book now for free couples massage. And then just have that fade in, fade out, and then fade it in immediately again. Don't have it invisible for more than a fraction of a second. Otherwise, the viewer, depending on the point that they look at this, could theoretically miss it. The fact there's an animation, so you don't want the state where it's disappeared to be very long at all, just a fraction of a second. Okay, so move the clip, the masked image down, place the animation right there. Then what I would recommend is, you've got this whole contact information, which you don't need. I would take this logo, place it down in the corner, and then right here or so, you could just say here, or maybe even up here, just say U.S. Virgin Islands. And what that's doing is you don't need to include the entire contact information because, web viewers are savvy enough now here in 2019. We all know that if you click on a banner, you're going to go to it acts as a URL, right? So you can find all of that pertinent information. But to assist the viewer in clicking that banner, I think the location being that it is in the Caribbean, it is somewhat of an exotic location. So I think that will definitely help the viewer decide whether they're going to click this ad or not. Okay, so those are my recommendations, Laurie. I think it's just an outstanding start. Just a couple of little tidbits here that I think are a little bit bothersome, at least the way I see it. So if you want to make those adjustments, please feel free to do so. You can resubmit right here into this forum. I'll be glad to provide additional comments, or you can just work towards those changes in for your final submission. And of course, I don't need to tell you, you've got experience enough to know that if you make changes in one composition within a campaign, it's quite likely at the very least, you want to go back and look at the other pieces in the campaign to ensure consistency. Do you see what I'm saying? I know you know this, but for example, if you change a logo in one piece, you have to go to the other piece and say, okay, do I need to change this logo? Is it going to preserve visual harmony? Is it going to preserve consistency, or is it okay? So at the very least, consider changes made to one piece and how they react and relate to other pieces in the campaign. All right, fantastic, Laurie. Questions, comments, concerns? Of course, I'm right here. Please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify anything that needs to be clarified. And again, questions, please just let me know. Thanks. Great job.